king, I am not a god, I am Hump
Vroom vroom, what's good ladies and gentlemen? It's time for the COda Motovore build, actually 4 builds, to take down level 9199 steel path enemies in Warframe. We always take builds to level cap to make sure they scale, but first thing first, let me show you the performance of this weapon. Welcome back channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and turn the bell on for more content, much appreciated. As always, before I build my weapons or my warframes, I rely on my method called DVS. D stands for how I'll be dealing damage, what elements I'll be using, what's the faction I'll be fighting. V stands for how I proc 10 stacks of viral to make enemies vulnerable by 325% more damage to their HP. S stands for stripping enemies armor to lower their damage reduction to deal higher damage. As always, we don't use any Revenants, so you can save your platinum, and I use Revenant, so I don't boost the weapon in any way, so feel free to boost it with any Warframe you want to receive even better results. And as always, if you don't like my methods on how I proc viral and armor strip enemies, it's okay, you can check this sheet right here. It can help you maneuver around my methods to find your own style. I'll be running 2 Emerald Archon shards to push the stacks of corrosive from 10 to 14 to armor strip enemies, and I'll be running 3 Violet Archon shards for 25% melee critical damage, and if my energy, which is more than 500, the damage boost is doubled. The Helmet ability, which is Tempest Barrage to proc corrosive, with the augment of Viral Tempest, will proc viral for me. I'll be running Steel Charge, Arcane Fury, don't worry about Arcane Strike for the first build. Now, Tempest Barrage is Hydro's subsumable ability, and it's really powerful. Now, when it comes to the COda Motovore, the first build is a Slam with Crescendo, but first you need to know the weapon unique trait. Receives 6 physical damage from mods and different bonuses based on the relevant physical damage type. Impact has 40% attack speed, Puncture has 1.5 meter range, and Slash has 100% statue chance. Now, this may seem really good, and yet it hurts any element on the weapon. You need to remember that, because they are always the highest. There you go. Now, Seismic Wave for Slam, Blood Rush for critical chance, Gladiator Might for critical damage and critical chance, Killing Blow for heavy attack damage, Primed the Heavy Trauma, look at that, 990% impact, Organ Shatter for critical damage, Sacrificial Pressure for melee damage, Sacrificial Steel for critical chance, and 2 times for heavy. Melee Crescendo is the first arcane we're going to be using for today's video build. It's simple. When you perform a finisher, you will receive initial combo that will remain the rest of your mission. How you perform it, really simple. Vazarin's second ability on operator, you ragdoll enemies, you press X, you perform finisher. Or you can use Naramon's second ability on operator, you sling, you open enemies for finisher. You can use Aereo mods, you jump on the air, right click, aim, hit, and you open enemies for finishers. Or you can use Bronco Dizzying Rounds Augmenta to stun enemies, so you can open them for finishers. And there is many other ways. These are my favorite. Now, we're going to be using Vazarin for the video. And for the companion, this is the build for my Nautilus, Cordon to pull enemies, and you know the rest. And the Verglass is the best sentinel weapon, but to activate Tenacious Bond for 120% critical damage, you need a ribbon. Otherwise, you run Primed Laser Rifle, or Volclock, or the Burst Laser Prime. So, let's start with getting our combo. For that, let's summon level 1 enemies really quick. Let's kill these guys really quick, and boom. The reason I will show you this part, because in every video I do with Melee Crescendo, a lot of channels, when I edit the segment on me performing finishes with Vazarin, they say, wait, how did you get the 12 combo, Hank? So here you go, this is how it is. So I summon enemies, I use the second ability on Vazarin, ragdoll them, and I press X, and I get my combo. Simple as that. Alright, now we got the 12 combo, I guess, and not yet, we are 11. Boom, this is the last batch, and alright, we're good to go. Now we can summon level 230 Heavy Corrupted Gunners, 30 Heavy Corrupted Gunners, and boom. Now, the first test I will do is without Viral and armor strip. So yeah, they're dead, but we didn't see the damage. So let's do it one more time. All right, let's go. Here we go, and boom. As you can see there, 2,300,000, something like that. One more time. Boom. 2,147,000, etc. Now, if we apply a full DVS, like so, armor stripping enemies and 10 stacks of viral, and let's check the difference. Boom. That's a lot of damage. 9, 10, 11, 12. Boom. 90 million. That's really, that's real damage right there. One more time. Boom. 84 million. And of course, you can expand this with a lot of ways, but this is the first style. Now, let's go for the second build. The second build is heavy attack with physics. Now, in the meaning of, you don't need electricity as progenitor, you want to go for impact, for example, but keep electricity because it's the best and fits almost all my builds. Now, Crushing Runes, Killing Blow, Primed Pressure Point, Boss Kill, Galvanized Steel, Primed Heavy Tromna, Amalgam Organ Shatter, Galvanized Reflex, Melee Elementalist, and Melee Afflictions. Alright, so as you can see, Boss Kill gives you 720. As you can see, the build here is really 46,000. Good stuff. And Afflictions here, because the Melee Elementalist will give us heavy attack wind up speed and the statue damage for the slash, because we're relying more on slash. And as you can see, slash will have 11.7. Of course, the impact will be there, but don't worry, slash will be broken almost all the time. Now, let's summon those enemies. And the way you play this is really simple. Okay, you armor strip enemies and proc battle on them, and you'll be just like heavy attacking like this. Boom, boom, boom. And 16 million right there. Of course, you'll be doing yellow crits. Go, summoning them. Time. And 12 million. 13 million. And this is how you'll be playing. Affliction, baby. Now, let's go for the third build. Third build is Influence Slam. We'll be running on Seismic Wave, Voltaic Edge, Vicious Frost, Voltaic Strike, Elementalist, and Organ Shatter, Galvanized Reflex, Galvanized Steel, and Melee Influence on Electricity Statue, 20% chance for Elemental Statue effects to apply to enemies within 20 meters. And now we're running Electricity and Blast. Blast will proc first, so Blast get Blasty to all enemies and kill them simultaneously on 5 meters. And with Cordon pulling them together from Nautilus, will work like Charm. With Electricity transferring the Blast and transferring Electricity all the way in the map for 20 meters. With the Galvanized Elementalist multiplicative statue damage, yes baby, we're gonna destroy them. Now the way you play this build is really simple and straightforward. Armor stripping enemies like always. There we go. And the moment electricity procs, they're pretty much dead. Now we got our combo. Here we go. From Galvanized Reflex. Summon them one time. Boom. Armor strip. Boom. 4 million. And they are dead. We don't joke around, right? Destroy everything. Boom. 6 million. So this build is like you jump and hit, you jump and hit, you jump and hit, and you go on and on. Now, for the fourth build, right here, we're gonna talk about the weapon stats on Wiki for a second. Now, Crushing Root, Dreamer's Wrath to activate Tanukai. Tanukai's sword will pop on your screen. You perform a heavy attack without consuming your combo multiplier. Galvanized Elementalist, as always, for multiplicative damage on Slash, Heat, Electricity, Toxin, Blast, and Gas. Organ Shatter for critical damage, Voltaic Strike for electricity, and Primed Fury for attack speed, Sacrificial Pressure, Blood Rush, and the Condition Overload, and Galvanized Steel. It depends. Now, for me, I prefer to use the sacrificial steel right here instead. You just take this off, so, and equip this one like here, and then we put steel in here, and we're good to go. So I like the build this way, okay? Now, the way we're gonna do it, we're just gonna use Naramon to sustain our combo multiplier. Otherwise, you can use Dexterity mods, right? Keep your combo if you don't want to go for Naramon, and you're going for Cascade, and you want to use, for example, Madurai for Void Strike to take down Thractus really fast. So let's get our combo. And I feel DE expected us to build this weapon for Slam. And I understand. It's a hammer. It's really powerful. And DE was afraid that we will break the game with this weapon. So they somehow, based on Wiki, not me or my theories or something like that, they nerfed the critical damage on this weapon I know you saw millions of damage. I know what nerf hunk you're talking about, but I will show you what I mean in a second. Could be a bug from wiki. Maybe you can help me decide what it is. But honestly, guys, I feel this weapon, DE, tried to make sure in a way with the statue physical to we play it this way, like I'm showing you right now, close range attacks, because true, heavy attacks is really good, slam attacks is really good, and all. But in the end of the day, I felt that 34 million, that's really cool, and that's the only reason I use sacrificial steel. Otherwise, you use the what is it? Sacrificial right here, the galvanized steel. So if you want red crits tier 3 on Tremor's Wrath, you use the sacrificial steel. If you want, you can use galvanized steel for the extra critical damage, which I think it's worth it. That's why I had galvanized steel on in the beginning, right there. Boom, for the 120% critical damage, because this weapon in math is really powerful when it comes to critical damage, especially on this normal attack style. There we go. Boom. Now, the thing I want to talk to you about is right about here. Now, if you pay attention to a wiki, you'll see the COda Motovore. Now, COda Motovore, you can see right about here, the critical multiplier is 2.3, and this is what the game tells you. But when you scroll down, you'll see heavy attack is 1 critical multiplier, and heavy slam is 1 critical multiplier, and slam element is blast. And then you got slam attack right here, 1 critical multiplier, slide attack, 1 critical multiplier, 0 critical chance, 0 critical chance, 0 critical chance, and 0 critical chance. Now, I don't understand. Is this a bug? Is this a information they didn't fill up, or they just like nerf the slam and heavy attack on this weapon? I don't know. This is wiki. This is the corporation official Warframe wiki. This is not a third party whatever. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that. I don't feel the critical damage is nerfed that much, but it doesn't make so much sense to me. Why would they do that? Maybe for future reference where they want to nerf the slam weapons, so they lower all the heavy attack and all the slam damage to 1 critical damage. So maybe it's like a leak, or I don't know. I really don't know. I just got very curious why the critical damage on the weapon is 1 and the base of it is 2.3 on the game, and the game doesn't tell you anything. And my conclusion for this weapon is 7 out of 10. And the physical thing they did on this weapon is really powerful, but yet ruins the elements, and it feels more towards physical, and physical is like very specific in specific content against specific enemies. Honestly, not a fan, alright? Because there is a lot of other competitor weapons that can outperform this weapon when it comes, for example, to the Garon Magistar and so on, or Tetra, Arcatetron, etc. Now, I want to say a special thanks to everyone in the channel who watching my videos, liking, subbing, commenting, follow me on Twitch, or follow me on TikTok, or joining my Discord. Special thanks to all my Hall of members, special VIPs, and disputed donator and Hall of donations, and every member of my community. And I'll see you guys in the next video.